amazing how fast he can go. And there's things that he's better at than other dogs. Like he can stand up and walk on his back two legs. He can take about 10 steps. He likes to stand up and he has better balance than any dog I've ever seen. So just under 2 years ago, a friend reached out asking me to take Winnie in. I have another dog at the farm, Bambi, who used a wheelchair. So when my friend heard about Winnie, she thought, I know someone who might be able to take him in. The family started looking really early. So he was born with deformed front legs. And at about 4 weeks old, the people who bred him started their hunt to kind of find him a home, knowing that it might be difficult. So I agreed to take him in. The first picture I saw of Winnie he was just a tiny little baby. When I had said yes to taking him in, and he came when he was about 6.5 weeks old, which is a little early, but he was starting to get really pushed away from mom by the other puppies. He'd sort of go to the bathroom and then sort of push himself through it. So we all sort of decided that it would be good for him to come. So Winnie actually came to me when he was about 6.5 weeks old. I remember the day that they dropped off Winnie at the farm, and he was just this tiny little, maybe 4 or 5 pounds, and he just crawled right into my arms and snuggled right up, and it was instant love for me. And to this day, I'm very, very, very attached to Winnie. Winnie has a big personality. Winnie kind of gets what he wants. He can be very demanding, and we always joke that he's good at saying no. Like if we ask him to do something, he'll just give you this look of like, no, not gonna happen. So he has a big personality. He's very sweet. He's very good with all the other animals here. There's actually over 200 animals here at the farm. It's a sanctuary. We rescue everything from like farm animals, dogs and cats. So we have everything from pigs and goats and cows. And Winnie is a very, very sweet dog, and he's helped raise multiple other animals. That we've had some goats and sheep that were born with leg deformities as well that we raised in the house. And Winnie is like the big brother kind of to all the other animals at the farm, I would say, as well. So he's very sweet, but he has a very big personality. If you come to the farm and he's outside, he'll stand up on his back legs and just bark and let us know that someone's here. So Winnie has wheels, but it's part of his personality. He absolutely hates his wheels. We've had multiple sets from multiple companies made, and he hops in his wheels and just glares at me and sometimes just refuses to move. Because Winnie can use one of his front really short legs, we put a special cover over it. Because he can use that to get around, he can do more that way. He doesn't like to feel restricted with the wheels. So Winnie prefers to get around as like a tripod with a short front leg, because he can play with his friends. He can get through the gates. He can get up on the deck. He can get up on his bed. Like there's so much that he can do with his nub cover on, versus when he's in the wheels, he's sort of limited at the farm on where he can go. So Winnie either rides around in his little remote control Jeep. It kind of looks like he's driving, but I'm standing there with a remote control. Or he just bounces around with his third leg like a tripod. It's pretty neat how he adapted to get around. We have a golf cart that he loves to ride around on. He's got his Jeep. If I'm going anywhere in my truck or my Jeep, he'll hear my keys and he's right beside me. Like he'd like to come, even if I'm just going to get a coffee or a lot of stores, he can come in with me too, but he's funny. Like he loves riding around in or on anything. So Winnie's pretty lucky. He lives at a farm sanctuary where there are people, whether it's myself, employees, or volunteers, there's always someone here. So Winnie doesn't kind of sit at home by himself while I go off to work for 8 or 10 hours a day. He gets to go outside in the morning, hang out with all his friends, watch the ducks, watch the pigs, play with his other dog siblings, and kind of run around. If I'm working on the gator, which is like a 4-wheel machine that drives around the farm, he has to be beside me in the passenger spot. So like he'll spend hours. Chip is a little lamb that came who was less than 24 hours old when he came to the farm. He was born with deformed front legs. So they were both in a bent position. And at first we had hoped that we could straighten his legs, but we did discover after a few weeks that they were never going to be perfectly straight. So Chip uses a wheelchair as well. And Winnie has just cuddled with and hung out with Chip his whole life. So for the last year, they've been friends. And another dog, Wally, likes to get in on that friendship as well. So there's 7 dogs in total at the farm who use wheelchairs and prosthetic legs. We have more dogs actually that live here that have all 4 legs, but the group of 7 that use wheelchairs and prosthetics call them Winnie's Warriors. So he's kind of the head of the group, but Winnie gets along with all the dogs. Oh, Winnie has absolutely changed my life and opened sort of my eyes to the whole not feeling sorry for a dog or someone with a disability, because it's not something to feel sorry for. I think it's like a big thing. And I've really made it a mission to where Winnie and I really just like to educate people on living with disabilities and how well animals can do, and just about, you know, living every day to the fullest. So it's pretty neat how they adapt. I mean, being born that way, it's all he's ever known. So Winnie has learned to figure out, like, he's learned to do anything that another dog can do.
When we paddle out into the lineup, people smile. There's no doubt, you know, and we'll take off on a wave and I hear people going, Rosie, go, Rosie. It's pretty cool. There's actually quite a few people who surf with their dogs, and then we have these competitions where they surf on their own and they're